in 70s, when Reagan was president of the United States, his vice president's son was roaming across the world. Interestingly, Nepal was a hub like Amsterdam. People from all over the world used to go and have a good time there. He basically made it illegal in 74. Guess what? Same very year, Amsterdam started legalizing cannabis. So that scared United States.
So, if you want to give some context, when you came to Canada, where are you from, and how you got into this industry?
Oh, absolutely, bro. So I came to Canada 2.5 years back, right, as a student because I actually wanted to study.
Yeah.
It's not like like I wanted to be here, and I didn't choose study as part of my immigration pathway. But I actually wanted to study. So what I wanted to study was marketing, which I already completed. And then, now I've already done my studies. I'm into cannabis industry. So the idea was to understand Canadian cannabis because I was always an enthusiast. I always researched cannabis. I've been researching again and again. It's like an ongoing process. It's never going to stop. I'm also a smoker, but these days I'm not smoking because of my health reasons, and I'm not even consuming cannabis in any form. It's not
even edible or ingestible.
Not even edible because of my health reasons. But it's nothing against cannabis or nothing against the product, right? So when I came in here, interestingly, cannabis certification is the first certification that I did right after landing in Canada within 15 days. So I was so much keen on working in cannabis industry, trying to understand the business itself. Not only the business, like the products, how the things are shaping up, how the industry is shaping up, and things like that. And honestly, like when I started working for the company that I'm working at the moment, I was overwhelmed by the amount of products, by the variations of products, the way people were consuming, back home where I'm from, like I'm from Nepal, right? So we don't have labels. We don't have THC percentage. We don't have things like that. The only way we smoke is just flower. We don't even have edibles because it's not a regulated market. It's not legal. But I would say it's not entirely decriminalized, but society has accepted in some sense. And there's no like crazy harsh penalty unless you're carrying like in big amounts,
if
like
you
kilos
are,
and kilos.
yeah.
Right? So if you're trying to trade or things like that, unless you're not doing that, even if police catches you like smoking somewhere in public space, they might charge you some fines, but there's nothing like crazy amount of fines. So yeah.
So, and this just as a slap on the wrist and they let you go, eh?
Not entirely. Again, depends.
Depends in what situation you get.
What's your goal there is like if you're smoking with your friends for recreation and things like that, then they might ask you a few questions. They might ask about your background, things like that. What do you do? For example, if you're
they might give you some hard time, and then
they might also lecture you. Like they might lecture you in a positive way, like saying, "Hey, you are still student or you're into business. I don't expect you to do this because it might land you into like it might be a gateway towards hard drugs or things like that. So don't do this."
So there's still some stigma, you can say, or no?
Stigma, of course, bro. 100%.
Yeah.
Because of like. This is something that I wanted to discuss as well, right? So, in 70s, I'm not sure if you're aware of that, like United States.
War against drugs.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is not entirely war against drugs. That's what my research said when I started doing my paper back in 2014, because I've written like academic paper on industrial hemp in Nepal. When I was doing that, I dive into like those topics as well because I wanted to bring that as well.
So what was this war upon?
So the war was against cannabis. Right? It's a very interesting thing. And at the moment, if you go and dig down, some of the points you might find, and some of the points has been labeled as conspiracy theories. Because for United States, it's very easy. If something aligns with their vision, motto, goal, or things like that, they'll say, yeah, this is positive. And if something that does not align, they'll just say, oh, this is just conspiracy. Or this is just a theory that someone is bringing up.
People have came up with.
Which is not true. So the thing is like, in 70s, interestingly, Nepal was a hub like Amsterdam. People from all over the world used to go and have a good time there. Smoke charas, smoke flower and things like that. So one of the driving force for the economy was cannabis. If you go and see some pictures, like hashish used to be available in like let's say, a downtown of Kathmandu, which is like central place, like Kathmandu, the Square area like that, right? And hippies, which have been labeled like a different kind of like group.
Subculture.
Subculture or whatever,
Yes.
right? But I've not said only hippies. People from different spectrum of life used to come to Kathmandu to feel bliss, to enjoy cannabis, enjoy culture, enjoy hospitality, and lot more things. Enjoy nature as well.
Yeah.
Because we are Himalayan nation, right? So that was there. So what happened was this is very interesting. If you deep dive, you might find that, but on a surface level, you will not. So what happened was in 70s, when Reagan was president of the United States, his vice president's son was roaming across the world, right? And he was gone off the land, gone off United States. And he was trying to locate his son. Where the hell is my son?
Oh, he didn't know
He didn't know where his son was, right?
Okay.
So his son has eventually joined the hippie movement of those days, right? And was strolling around in the foothills of Himalayan nation, Nepal.
Okay.
So eventually they located him in Kathmandu. Right? In Kathmandu they located him. So, and then they went after him, and then they saw not only him, the entire mass of people are enjoying their life there. Right? Not only his son. His son was from an influential family of aristocrats, or I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Definitely influential family, because his son was the son of a vice president. So that scared United States. That scared them, bro. That made them crazy, like, because their whole capitalism is relied upon 9 to 5, go to work, and they're like, capitalism also is based upon massive industrialization, like things like that, right? So if their youth is going towards blissfulness,
how will
spirituality,
they be?
how will it work? How will the economy work? How will the economy be functional, right? So eventually what they did was, long story short, they came up with a plan to kill that movement. So they started with war against drugs. So they started coming up with movies, and I would also like to connect one more thing there. So during those days, the people from the south of United States were not happy.
Because of all this?
No, were not happy with Spanish immigrants. Spanish illegal immigrants, I would say. As per them. It's not labeled by me, as per them, who were, like migrating to part of Texas, part of the southern United States for better life. People who were like, not indigenous, but people who were already living there were not happy, right? So what they started is, the name marijuana is a Spanish slang for cannabis.
It's a slang.
It's a slang. It's not even a proper term. Marijuana is a slang. And what they started to come up with is like movies like Devil's Weed, things like that. And they started to portray.
To put a bad rap on it.
Yes, on television, saying, if you smoke cannabis, you go crazy, the Spanish immigrants will come and kill you. And they started to portray that in a subtle manner, and in some movies explicitly. Like, if you smoke cannabis, you'll go crazy. You'll start killing people. It's very harmful for the society. Things like that.
All that, yeah.
Right? All that crap, all that nonsense.
And at the same time, they had this war with Vietnam as well going on, right?
Yeah, that was going there, right? So they were playing out things all together. Now again, coming back to Nepal side, because I'm more like interested on that.
Yeah.
And I also want to speak on that behalf. So what they did was, when they found his son there, eventually they came up with a plan. So let's make cannabis illegal in Nepal, so that nobody can come and smoke, right?
And you think there was some influence of US making Nepal do things when they found out Reagan's son is...
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, but that's something that I'm trying to portray here, right? So what they said to our king of that time, like, oh, you need some money to fund your developmental activities in Nepal, since we were economically poor at that time. But fortunately, we were self-subsistence. We are happy.
You are taking care of yourself, yeah.
Absolutely. We are happy. We're doing farming. We're, like raising livestock and things like that. And we're happy.
Enough for yourself. And
one of the happiest people during those times.
And that's all you need ideally. I mean...
So we were not entirely influenced by capitalism at that time. and only some of the economists or people who were in the academic world were actually familiar with that concept. Other than that, people were happy doing their own things and living blissful life. So what United States did was they said, hey, to our king, you might need some money to fund your developmental activities, to establish schools, universities, hospitals, and things like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some grant, 50 million or something like that. It was about 50 million. I'm not entirely sure. I think it was 40 to 50 million dollars.
Okay.
Right? And then our king said no. Right? This is something that's going to spark a debate if somebody watches this. But United States has involvement, and some of the people still say that, and some of the people have already said in public, domain as well, that United States conspired with Indian authorities to kill our king in order to implement that policy. So that king was eventually killed, but they made it like a heart attack. So the idea was...
This is one thing with the United States.
Yeah, bro. So they couldn't implement that right away. So what they did was they eliminated him right away from the space. And what happened was then came his son as a new king, right? So again, came up with the same plan. Buddy, this is what we, propose.
We'll offer you 50 million.
Yeah, 50 million for
and you know what will happen if you don't accept it.
Right. So he had already seen that.
Yeah.
He had already seen that. And our king of that time was educated in Harvard, so they put up that angle, was educated in Eton, which is in UK, so they also came up with that angle. And they actually influenced him in different ways. He was a very well-educated person, so he understood, if I don't do this, there could be repercussions and there could be consequences, which he didn't want it, because he had already seen that. And he wanted to continue his father's vision, because his fathers had basically institutionalized the nation, Nepal, right? So he took that and he basically made it illegal in 1974. Guess what? Same very year, Amsterdam started legalizing cannabis.
And all the
see how geopolitics work.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting, bro.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting, right?
Same
and
year,
that
74.
also blew my mind.
Amsterdam just...
Now the hub is Amsterdam.
Instead of Nepal.
Nepal. So you can go there and smoke and,
They brought it to the West.
Right? So they brought it to the West again.
Yeah.
They brought it to the West. So initially it was in the East. Right? In the summertime, people used to go to Kathmandu. The hippies or people who are seeking the spirituality or blissfulness or whatever.
Yeah.
In winter, they used to come to Goa, the southern side. We still have that mass, still today, right? We all know. But they wanted to shift that happening, and they created a hub in the West itself, which was Amsterdam, because they had to provide an option. They cannot entirely say,
no to this. Yeah.
Yeah, because people will ask questions and people will ask for the opportunity.
And people will find a way.
Oh yeah, people will find a way, right? So they gave them the option in Amsterdam. So that's very interesting. Bro.
But that brings the point, weren't they okay with Nepal being the hub? I mean, if the money was flowing to Nepal, or let's say we were having tourism in Nepal, this gorgeous...
The movement was driving the entire youth. People used to drive from Germany to Kathmandu.
And they need to run
Goa.
their capital economies.
They wanted to run the economy, and their economy is relied upon the workforce, which goes to work 9 to 5, as I am doing it right now in Canada, as you are doing it in Canada in different way.
Yeah.
So that's how they wanted to operate the economy. If their youth are driven by that blissfulness, spirituality, or things like that,
They'll get out of the job market or the workforce. Yeah.
It's gonna kill the entire economy eventually. So they didn't want that to happen. And Nepal was just a part of it, not the only country. So they did that with different nations as well, right? Not only.
It's crazy how United States, if first they'll offer you money, if you don't accept it, and then
there's another way.
There are consequences. Yeah.
It's so crazy, bro. It's
so
crazy.
What do you think is happening now in the world? I mean, with all this chaos going around, and
I'm not too sure, bro. Yeah, the guy who's in position seems very crazy and comes up with crazy.
Do you think he's
things.
crazy, or people around him is feeding him with nonsense and?
I'm not too sure, but because I don't want to step into something that I don't know entirely, so I'm not going to see that. The things that I shared with you was earlier, which I shared, was found out by me when I deep dive into, like dark web, and things like that. And then those documents I saw, like,
Yeah.
and then only I came up with this, like notion, not my saying. It's there. The evidence is
The
there.
factual
If you connect
thing.
the dots, you'll find it. It's there.
I had Jesse from Toba.
Yeah.
So he brought up a very cool point. He said Amsterdam became a consumption lounges, and then it promoted tourism and whatnot, and people started flocking there. He said we need something similar for Manitoba because we don't have anything going on for Manitoba technically because we don't have any tourism, not resource dense as what do you call
BC.
Alberta and BC, right? So if we can have tourism that way, why not?
Absolutely, bro. I mean, definitely. We don't even have an option to smell, right? We don't even have an option to smell cannabis. Now they've just come up with like see-through packaging where they are allowing, but that does not satisfy
The customers,
consumers.
no, it does not.
Right? Because in order to understand like the quality of cannabis, you need to be able to smell. Right? This is something that I wanted to bring up as well, because the whole industry is going towards high THC, better quality, which is not, bro, which is crap. Like, why? Why are you shaping that? Why
It's
are you giving
easier
that?
for the masses to, okay, as a business owner, I can maybe put some light on this. It's easier for me to convey the message because it's quantifiable, right? The numbers are easier to measure, and because if someone's 32% and this is 29, this is how our brains are designed over the years. I don't know. So
Yeah, but the thing is, like, what I'm trying to say is, let me give you an example. If you're going and buying alcohol, will you chase the
higher volume, no.
Will you chase the proof?
No.
Will you chase 40%, 42%, 45%, 46%, 50% if you're
More inclined towards taste and how
Yeah.
it was made and what barrel.
That's
and
my
all
whole
that.
point is, like, if you're trying to buy a good quality scotch, for example, let's say, will you see like, oh, is it 56%? Is it 60%? Is it 65%? No, you won't do that. You will see like, where was it distilled? What was the malt like? Was it like sourced from a single, source, or was it a blend? Or things like that, right? There's a lot more there.
Yeah.
So my say is, why not we create a similar kind of standard for cannabis and enable that and educate the mass? The problem there is like when I think the problem started when everything got legalized. So they had to like put it in certain way so that people will start to recognize the quality of cannabis. Higher the better was the notion that was placed initially, and that continued again and again. So the problem that I see down the line, because I'm also selling cannabis like you, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be very hard for you to sell craft cannabis later on. The actual good quality cannabis later on.
Not even later on, even now,
Even now,
we can
even now.
see, yeah.
Because sometimes if I try to pitch people, like if they ask me, like what kind of product you have or what's a good one. If I try to pitch them, I say like, hey, it's just 25% THC, but it has nice terpenes. It has very dense trichomes.
It'll be better than the 32% one, yeah.
Yes, it has very dense trichomes and it smells fresh because the packaging date is like, it's from this last month or last week, and it's hand trimmed, grown on a live soil, right?
Higher quality, yeah.
Higher quality, so it's gonna enhance your experience. Guess what? The consumer replies me, why will I pay so much for 25% if I can get like for
That's
30%,
the common
right?
common
That's the common
rebuttal,
belief
yeah.
and notion that people have, which is untrue, bro. Because even with like 20% THC level, the research has proven that, right?
Yeah.
Even with 20% THC, if it has dense trichomes, has nice amount of terpenes, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna give you better experience than 32% or 35%, even 40% THC.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I try to do my part explaining it to the customers, but same thing. Why would I pay same amount for?
So here, I would directly like to, like not blame entirely, but I would like to aware the regulators and also the growers. The reason growers came up with with this notion is in Manitoba you cannot even smell. So how would
You don't know what
customer
you're
know if
buying
it's fresh
into.
or not?
Yeah.
Right? And interestingly, I recently came to know that maybe last year or something. In Manitoba, you can repackage as well. You know that, right?
Yeah, I've been to some of these factories.
Right?
Yeah.
So you can repackage that as well. So you are smoking basically a crab at some point. If you-
Yeah, that package date that you see doesn't mean
doesn't mean
shit.
nothing.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean
'cause
nothing, bro. Right?
A lot of times it's been harvested years ago, or let's say 6 months ago, a year ago, and then it'll be packed. Let's say if it stays on shelf long enough, they repack it.
Yeah.
They put another slap on another label on it.
Absolutely, and they're allowed to do that by regulators, which makes me sad, bro. Right? So, if I'm buying a flower, I always do my dry test. There's a way that I do that. I just shake. If it's
Crunchy
yeah,
and you
if it's giving me like a like there's a bunch of
Crackling
pebble kind of
sound,
like
yeah.
crackling or things like that, I don't buy it. That's my dry test. And if there's no smell, right?
Yeah.
There's no smell. Even with like seal-proof packaging,
There has to be
yes,
something
there has
coming.
to be some kind of like pungent smell.
I was wondering, you must have seen this with coffee. You know, when you go to Walmart, and you go to the coffee section, you see all these coffee. They have these punch holes in it to take a smell. Why can't we do something similar for cannabis? That'd be nice.
That's a good point, and I think Pure Sun Farms have started to do that.
You think?
Oh yeah, they have.
Have you seen the packaging?
Yeah. With big bags, like with 28 grams bag or 7 grams bag, they have started to come up with that valve. You can just squeeze
it and you can sniff
smell.
it.
Yeah, they have started to come
That'll
up
be
with that.
nice.
Yeah,
That'll be a very good addition.
Yeah, they have innovated their packaging there. So yeah, I think a lot of the other brands will also follow.
Oh, they have to, because this is the way to do it. Because tell me any other industry where you buy a product, you don't know what you're buying into.
Exactly, right?
There's none.
Yeah, and the good thing is, I think some of the people have started to understand the effect of terpenes in their experience, and now they have started to come up with questions like how high the terpene your product has, right? But again, terpene is not the only thing. Again, that determines the quality.
Yeah.
How has it been grown? So my point is, growers, suppliers, manufacturers has also has to step up and do marketing in such a way where people can also have that education regarding what they're trying to buy, right? Because at the moment they are selling 32%, 35%, 38%.
And it's flying. It's flying off the shelves.
Flying,
Yeah, it's
just
working.
by leveling that. But once people are, leaning towards craft, nice ones, it's going to be very hard for them to sell that product that they were used to selling. And if they keep on continuing this THC game, craft industry is done. Sooner or later, it's done, bro.
Yeah. Because how long you can keep your doors open with
Only the high-paying customers will be buying that. Maybe, let's say, like small mass from BC, small mass from Manitoba, or small mass from Quebec.
And you have to think it this way too. I mean, we had this Third Coast Genetics, if you have heard of it.
Oh, yeah.
It's good cannabis, black truffle and whatnot. And we would have customers pay $90 for 14 gram. That usually doesn't happen in Manitoba market, or at least in our demographics where we are located. So I was surprised that there is market for craft cannabis, but not everyone. So out of 10, there will be 8 or 9 who would buy value products, and then there would be this one guy or gal who'd be super into craft cannabis.
Absolutely. My point is, if you keep on promoting the good products, you can also lower down the cost of that eventually, right?
By economies of scale, yes.
Economies of scale. Because the reason the mass products are selling well and they have managed to make it cheaper is because of the demand. Like you said, economies of scale.
Yeah.
So if people start to demand like craft, good quality products, then eventually it's going to lower down the cost. And in general, as a whole sum, it's going to benefit all of us, all the consumers as well. That's my point. And it should start off with growers, manufacturers, and then regulators should also enable that environment to happen. Like not by coming up with this nonsense idea where we cannot even see and smell the product that we are trying to buy.
I sometimes wonder, these regulation committees or whatever, the authorities, they don't think through these things, or they just come up with the idea of,
Not sure, bro. That's so bizarre to think of.
right? I mean, if you have legalized it, okay, regulate it. I'm not saying do not regulate it, but in a way that works for you and for the customers and for the
Yeah.
suppliers and the businessmen.
For example, if you go to like Liquor Mart, they enable the sampling events. They enable the sample programs right there.
Yeah,
right?
now
Now people know what they are drinking, or what they are consuming, right? With
Yeah.
cannabis, no.
Hmm.
In BC, I've heard like they allow that. You've been there, you know that market better than me. I've not.
BC is
Yeah.
completely different market,
Right?
my friend. I mean, I came to Canada in 2017, and around that time it was in 2018 it got legalized and everything. So I saw this whole thing happening. They have this 420 events, huge. They have consumption lounges too in gray area, not legally, not fully legal, not fully decriminalized or whatnot.
Yeah,
So yeah, and now they have mushroom stores coming up.
yeah, I heard that too. Like you can basically sit in a place like, and then experience that.
Yeah,
I was told like similar to what we have in cannabis. It's for sleep,
yeah.
right? It's for spiritual.
They have
awakening.
different strains
Yeah,
of
and I was
mushrooms.
surprised. Maybe I should try someday, bro.
Have you tried mushrooms?
I have. But yeah, that's another crazy story, bro. That's very crazy. I tried in Nepal itself. So I went to a national park, which is one of the major national park in Nepal, where we have rhinos, tigers, right? In
I thought
massive
rhinos
numbers.
were extinct. No?
No.
We still
One,
have some.
one-horned rhinos.
One-horned
Which
rhinos.
is even more rare, right? So Nepal has about like 600 plus one-horned rhinoceros, and I think at this time we have close to 300 or 300 plus tigers, right? So I was inside this national park. We went there, we hunted the mushrooms. We used to call that process hunting.
Yeah.
So we went inside the jungle and we searched for like blue top and like those kind of mushrooms, and we plucked them from the national park. And then we went back to the resort and then we boiled it and we had it. One of the best experience in my life. And that also, I think awakened my senses, I would say. From that point onwards, I would say I became a different person. Honestly speaking, bro. Because before that, I would say I was more arrogant, more, like one-sided kind of person. In Nepali, we call it bheda. Bheda basically means like, ship. Like sip.
Bheda, okay,
Yeah.
bheda. Yeah.
You're like a sip kind of personality, right? If this is right, I would only think, oh, this is right. There's no other perspective. But after that experience, my whole thing got, like my whole perspective got changed. I was more leaning towards empathy. If somebody's saying something, I would say, like I would try to investigate the reasons or reasoning why he is or she is doing that or she is behaving that, or things like that. I would like look it from all the perspective and then only pass my judgment or give the response or reply. And that basically shaped up my life after that, honestly speaking, bro. Even now, I think the effect still is there.
I think genuinely everyone should try mushrooms
Oh, yeah.
at some point in life when they feel ready, not
Yes.
when they are
Yes.
in a turmoil.
Mhm.
Once their life is stabilized, because the last thing you want to do is meddle with these very potent substance when your life is not doing well.
Absolutely.
When you're in a
correct.
good mental state and you think, and you'll know when it's time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So my suggestion would be like, don't consume mushroom in a confined space.
No?
No,
Okay.
that's my first suggestion. Because I consume it, I think, twice or thrice, I believe. After that, we stopped going inside the jungle because it was crazy. It's controlled by Nepalese army, so we don't want to get shot. They might think us poachers, and
Yeah.
we don't want that happening. And we all come from good families, so we don't want that happening, right? And then, again, coming back to the point, don't consume it in a confined space. Consume only when you are in a right frame of mind. For example, like you said, things are progressing well. You are in a good space,
Yeah.
right? If you are troubled by your relationship, with your family problems or other things, I would not suggest. Or if there's something that's hidden deep down, I would not suggest, unless you are consuming it under therapeutic personnel who is guiding you to achieve, something,
Yeah.
I would not suggest you to do that. But if you're in a, like happy state, if you're happy, there's no trouble going around, you are focused in your life, you're achieving something, then you can definitely try. And if you try that, it's definitely gonna add up to the values that you carry, and then it's gonna save your life in a better direction.
What do you think, sort of, the things that we see when we hallucinate or whatnot what are those? Are those hallucinations? Because it looks very real.
Yeah.
Because I've tried it once, right? And I did it from a perspective of I want to know what this thing is. Is there more senses than just 5 senses that I have? And I wanted to, understand this whole bizarre thing that everyone tells that, oh, you look this, you see this. And so when I tried it and I saw things, I'll tell you my experience.
For
And
sure, man.
and those things were laughing at me, and they were constantly looking at me, laughing at me, and I was observing everything. I was trying to fight the reality and with this weak body, and they were laughing because, oh, he's here for the first time and he's trying to fight. And because they knew, like, it seemed to me they had an idea that we humans every now and then would consume this and come to their realm and see what's going around.
That was an interesting experience that you had.
Yeah, and I was in full force trying to use all my, okay, I can fight. Oh, no, I don't want to see this. Oh, and they were laughing. They were constantly laughing at me from far away. They were looking, another gone.
Yeah. So with the experience that you had, I'm not an expert in mushrooms or anything, but I've consumed in the past, and
But what do you think those?
I'm also a spiritual person. So from that perspective, I'm going to suggest you. So I think when you consume cannabis or mushrooms, first thing you shouldn't be doing is you shouldn't be fighting against it.
I realized that once. Yeah.
Right? You should allow that thing that you saw. Definitely, it's an hallucination. It's not real, right? But it's inside your brain. So you should allow that happening, and you should try to listen to it. Why it's trying to say. Just try to listen and stay calm, stay there, and try to process that. Don't try to fight. Man. It's very hard. I get it. It's very hard.
When I got into the trip, I told these things to myself. Yes. I'm not going to fight. Whatever comes, and I'll accept it. I'll see it. But when it happens, it's completely different. You're like, okay, hold on.
Yeah. So that's why I'm trying to link this with meditation now, right? So that's why meditation is also very hard for people who are, like anxious, let's say, or who have that issues with anxiety. It's very hard for them to stay calm and do meditation unless they have been guided by, instructor like who's pro at that. It's very hard because what they will do is they'll try to fight against it.
All those
thoughts that's coming inside their head, right? So it's similar because I was there, I was trying to meditate after consuming it. Bro, the first time it was crazy. I had not entirely similar to what you had, but I had a different kind of experience. I was in front of the national park in a very, serene place. There was a river next to me, and then across the river there was like a plain, grassland, jungle, I was seeing like animals. I don't know if it was real or I was hallucinating. I could see blue sky and things like that because I was sitting there and trying to meditate and trying to listen to what my nature is trying to tell me, right? What my surrounding is trying to tell me. So I would suggest the same. If you try it again, or if someone is trying to, consume that, I would again suggest the same. Stay there, listen to your thoughts, allow that thought, to come to you. Don't try to fight against it. I know it's very painful. That's why some of the meditation techniques.
Yeah.
I would like to quote this. Osho I have also said, because he's also a meditator. He sometimes used to go meditate and sit there for like a year, right? He said some of the meditation technique that he practices is very dangerous because sometimes it could take up to like, mother's womb. You can reach up to that point. You can see yourself inside mother's womb, which is very, very scary.
I've heard those things
right?
from
It's
people.
very, very scary. Even now, there might be some, gurus or sadhus or people like him who can do that, but it's very scary. So like magic mushrooms could enable that. Could like make you, reach that, not with meditation, but with that chemical, you know, imbalance or whatever. I don't know. I'm not an expert, but yeah.
Yeah, no, you brought up a very cool point. Meditation,
But if you take that as
yeah,
as a
party drugs.
supplement
Okay.
to enable your end goal, which is to attain spirituality or serenity or peace or blissfulness, then you are winning, my friend. I would suggest. I would say that you will be winning.
No, I tried meditation and it worked for me
Yeah.
for some time. I would go in these blissful states, and I'll tell you one of my experience. And I was lying down, and I was fully aware. It's not that I was in a sleep state or anything, and you feel much more blissful than even on some of these substance out there. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
on cannabis or mushrooms, and it was surprising how if I clear my thoughts and go inside and look into myself, there are more answers than the outside world. Because what happens usually is we look for answers outside. We have unclosed issues, or we never got the closure on certain things, and we keep on looking for answers here and there. And why did parents do this? Why did my fiance did this? Why did my in-laws did this? And all that, right? And we always have this trouble finding answers outside. But when you go inside and you realize, okay, all those answers were with me all this time. I just didn't look inwards.
Yeah.
And so, but the problem with meditation in my, not problem, my personal issue was I couldn't do it for sustained basis.
Okay. So why was that?
I mean, it's hard to get into the meditation state itself because you're so occupied all the time, and first 10-15 minutes goes into calming down the brain, and when thought starts to settle down a bit,
Yeah.
something comes up again, and then you have to fight it again, and not even fight, I mean you have to resolve that, and yeah.
Yeah. So you'll have to be patient, bro. that's gonna be my answer, because even before coming here, I was sitting there. I think I meditated for about 20-25 minutes. I do it anywhere, everywhere, whenever I feel like. And by God's grace, God has allowed me to, meditate even when I'm talking with you. I don't know how I can meditate even when I'm talking with you. That's an interesting point, right? People might give me a counter argument when they
You have to
listen
close
this.
eyes, sit in a
Yes.
lotus position and
Yes.
all that, yeah.
But the meditation or the things that I practice, I don't know even if it's called meditation or something like that, but yeah, I get into that state very, very quick. Very, very quick. I don't know how. Is it because of cannabis or magic mushroom? I'm not too sure, but I can reach that. And I feel the senses here.
And does it come with over time, or like was it?
I practiced for a bit of time, sat there, did that routinely over a period of time for about 4 months. So I think after that, now my brain or my body has been engineered in such a way that I can get into that state very quickly. But again, you'll have to sit there,
Go
be
through the
patient
process.
and just listen,
And
allow your thoughts to pass. The problem is, I'll not even say problem. I think people get impatient when negative thoughts starts to come in.
because it's slow, the process itself is very
very
slow.
slow.
It'll come and then you'll have to face it. It
Yes.
just doesn't go away.
Yes, bro. One time when I was meditating, I was starting to cry.
That happens.
Right?
I was.
That happens, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not even bragging. Like one time I was crying and one time I was laughing. Interestingly, right? And
Why do you think that happens? I always wondered. I was sitting there and I was in this meditation for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatnot, and you have these tears start coming out, and then
Yes.
suddenly you'll smile, and
yes,
it's hard to understand. And then you see this, and then I started to relate this to a baby. You see a baby, and sometimes its eyes would be closed, and 1 month, 2 month old, and he'll smile, and then
yeah. I might not have a concrete answer to that because again, I'm not an expert and I don't go back and discuss these things. It's again all my personal experience which I'm sharing for the first time in public domain today. But the thing is, it's your personal experience. So maybe some thoughts or some problems or trauma from the past is coming up. That's the reason you're crying, or things that was not resolved in the past. So and you realize you could have done better, you could have improved, or you could have resolved that in the past. Or maybe you want someone to be with you today who is no longer here. you were
That what brings the
yeah,
tears.
yeah,
Okay.
you miss those moments with her or him, you know. Uh, if you are smiling, maybe you realize how happy your life was when you were teenager, when you're playing with your friends, in the gullies or in the alleys, right? So maybe it's all the answers are there. You just have to listen. Stay there to your thoughts. And again, coming back to the point, which I was trying to say, people again fight when they're meditating.
Yeah.
And when the negative thought starts to come in, they think, oh, this is not something that I want. When I'm sitting there to meditate, I'm trying.
I don't
to
want to
connect.
deal with this.
Yes,
Yeah.
maybe I'm doing this because I want to connect with the higher being, God, or that spiritual being. But the negative thought starts to come in again and again and again and again. The reason is that it's there within you.
It's like an open tab that needs
Yes.
to be
Yes,
closed
even
yeah.
sadhus feel that because you're a human being. There's negative and there's positive. It's all about energy, right? Even in battery, there's
Positive and
plus and
negative
minus.
charge.
It's all there. The whole universe is created that way. So
And
why
I
are you
think-
trying to fight?
Yeah, there is a polarity in this universe because you can't see dark without light, and you can't see colors without the opposite color. If everything's white, you won't know it's white. You have to see black to know it's white. And I think when the people think about meditation, they think about blissfulness right off the gate.
Oh no, it's not gonna happen.
Right? People think that, okay, I'll sit down and I'll be blissful right away. And that's not the case. You'll have to deal through a lot of negative things that linger around. And then once your inbox is clear, that's when you
Yes.
feel that.
Yes. And you'll have to listen to your breath. You'll have to listen to your thoughts. Just allow that.
Why we only humans have been able to go into the past, go into the future? We can't stay in the moment. And no other animal in this animal kingdom, on this planet, does that. They all live in the moment, hunt and look for today. And our modern society is designed, we're so much worried about the future, what's going to happen, and we take our traumas from the past and they stick with us and keep going forward.
Yeah, bro. So I would like to bring this point. If you listen to all the spiritual gurus, everybody will say like, stay in the present.
Yeah, but it's
Try
hard.
to stay in the present. It's very hard, bro. It's very, very hard. Once you have the responsibilities, you start to think of the future, right? And you're also troubled by the past because definitely you have done some things in the past which will again, definitely guide your future, right? It's very, very hard once you have the responsibilities. But imagine when you were a teenager, it was very easy for you to be in the present.
Because we were busy playing and nothing worried us. Yeah.
The only thing that was worrisome was homework. There was nothing. If you just complete it, you're right there,
Yeah.
right? So I'm not sure how to stay in present or what's the mantra for that, but I think people should look this in such a way where they can enjoy the time that they're spending right now. They should find a way to enjoy the moment that they have right now.
Because it's a common thing. When I'm sitting here, I'll think about home. When I'm at home, I'll think about this.
Yes.
When I'm at business, I think about vacation. And when I'm
Yes.
at vacation, I think about business.
Yes.
Because it's hard for anyone to stay in the moment and enjoy that thing for fully. And it's fascinating how we humans have.
And I think, the reason why meditation is getting popular these days, part of subculture
Yeah.
or things like that is because people want to stay in the present. And in the past or even today, some people take substances to be in the present, which is again not the good route, I would say. Right?
Yeah.
Because they want to forget things from the past and they don't want to remember.
And
what's
they
gonna happen in
think
the future.
using this substance will allow them to do that. But
Yes, but which is not the good route. So that's why meditation comes into the place. You could sit there, listen to your thoughts, allow that negative thoughts to pass by, and eventually positive thoughts will come, and it will give you that clean direction towards better life. But again, don't take it as a bag of things that you have to accomplish right there.
yeah.
And there's another thing as well. We overpromise sometimes, bro. We
Explain.
overpromise. So the thing is, like, for example, let's say, and that also troubles people most of the time, even me, right? I would say like, oh, I'm gonna accomplish this in a week. If I don't, and then I'll be like, man,
Beat yourself.
I'll treat myself as a failure. It's not. You just missed it because there were so many things that was there. You know, you did so many things. That's the reason you missed this. So my solution to that would be, don't overpromise. You know, there's 20 different things that you are supposed to do. Then promise yourself only the things that you can achieve practically in the next week. So if you overpromise, it's gonna hunt you back. It's gonna hunt you back, bro. That's how our brain is engineered. It's interesting, bro. You should also look into those things.
Yeah. I always feel incomplete. I don't know why. I keep on doing all these tasks that I'm supposed to do, you know, everything related to the business, everything related to this side, and I make sure everything's done. And I still feel incomplete within myself. I don't understand why. And I keep on telling myself, you're not doing enough. I don't know if it's imposter syndrome, whatnot.
No, it's not imposter syndrome, bro. I think it's ambition. If you ask me.
But it's driving me crazy at some points.
You're ambitious, bro. So you want to achieve something big, right? What I'm trying to say is like, just don't overpromise to a certain extent, which will land you into a zone of frustration, which leads to depression eventually. That's one of the major causes, bro. Right? There could be many factors. I don't want to get into depression or the issues because I'm not an expert and I don't want to share those things. I'm just saying that don't overpromise. If you overpromise yourself, you'll not be able to accomplish at some point, and that leads to frustration, and that leads to depression, and then you'll feel anxious.
You'll be more riled up, yeah.
Yes, you'll be more riled up, and then you will start to find, what's going to calm me down?
And then I'll find substances. I wanted to ask you this. I've always heard this term, bad trip.
Yes.
Do you think there is such thing as a bad trip?
Oh, bro, I have experienced that too.
Yeah?
Yeah, I had LSD in Goa.
Uh-huh.
Right? I'm not going to show this to my in-laws or my parents.
Yeah.
Don't worry. It's okay. You can put it in public domain. My wife doesn't mind. She knows all the things. So I had LSD in Goa. And then I was just strolling around. It was New Year's Eve. Strolling around Arambol Beach. It's a very long stretch.
Mm-hmm.
And I was enjoying initially. But I was super high. I was crazy high, bro. I could sense that. I could feel that, right? And then my brain was going crazy. I needed that beat. And I could hear music because Goa is filled with, in that evening, Goa is filled with parties and things happening. So I could listen to some beats and I was like, enjoying that. I started walking towards
water or?
Towards peace, I would say.
Towards peace?
Now I want to get away from that beat, right? So I was walking, I don't know where. I almost walked for about 1.5 kilometers. I didn't even realize. And then the lights from those pubs, from those, like food places starts to fade away because I was already a bit far from those places. And then I turned towards water.
Yeah.
I saw something there. I don't know what it was. Ghost or something, my illusion, I don't know. Definitely an illusion, definitely hallucination. I saw something. It was crazy, bro. And then my heartbeat went up. Boom. I knew something was going on. I immediately was self-aware of the fact that's not real. The thing that you saw is not real. Calm down. So I turned away on the different direction towards the light. And then I started to say, calm down, buddy. That's not real. Calm down. You don't want to die today. Calm down. And then I started to walk back towards my friend. And then they were gone already. They were gone to our hotel. So that was my crazy bad trip experience. After that, I never tried LSD, bro. Never, ever. Because that was crazy. I almost died, bro. I never tried. So that was my experience.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a bad trip. I think the reason behind that is I might have overdosed myself. I might have.
Because these are very potent substances, right?
Yes. So what we had was we had it in a liquid form.
Mm-hmm.
So we put some drops in a liquid form. So I think it didn't dilute it properly. So all of us were allowed to have certain sips. So the first part was drank by one of my friends. Second part,
you got the bottom part.
I got the bottom one. So I think it was not diluted properly.
Yeah.
And I got crazy high, bro. So everything was went towards me, and we were supposed to share it with like 4 people. So I think that
That's
was the
crazy.
reason. But again, bro, I
There's
didn't want to
this-
take any chance.
There's this school of thought that I've heard. What do you call bad trip? There is no such thing as bad trip. I've heard it, right? And I kind of believe that is true. There is no such thing as bad trip. The experience that you had was something you didn't want it to face. I don't know. I've never
Could be, bro. Could be.
right. I mean, that has happened to me when I've smoked cannabis or whatnot. So I would go into these questions or spirals that I didn't want it to face. And once I was out of those, I would say that was a bad trip. But then later I realized that wasn't a bad trip. I was just having those questions that I didn't want it to answer, or those moments that I didn't want it to witness. Not this
Could
one.
be, bro. I think we can relate that to dreams. You know, sometimes you see tigers chasing you.
Yeah.
Sometimes snakes chasing you. And I was told by someone like it's some bad aspects of life or some challenges, I would say, that you don't want to face, right? But you are here to face everything once you were born, but you don't want to face that. So the dream is trying to give you a signal, hey buddy, you'll have to face me. And it comes in a form of tiger, which is superior than you because it can kill you. It comes in a form of snake, which is again, if it bites you, you are dead, right?
Yeah.
So it comes in a form of those things which are like, you know, superior or powerful than you, and you don't want to face that powerful being. It could be a challenge in work, or challenge in your relationship, or challenge with your parents, you know, in terms of relationships or things like that which you don't want to face. So your
I've
dream
never
is,
thought of it
right?
that way.
Your
yeah.
dream is trying to signal you, buddy, you'll have to face me. You'll have to face this challenge. You'll have to face this obstacle, maybe in your workplace, maybe in your relationship or things like that.
Yeah, I get a lot of dreams lately because I've started taking magnesium.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it helps, man. It really helps with deep sleep. Or,
Yeah.
I mean, I've started getting my dreams back. I never want to get away from my dreams, right? Because when you start consuming a lot of alcohol, I've seen you'll be deprived of dreams, or even cannabis.
Cannabis, bro. I was about to bring you the point.
Yeah, if you consume a lot of cannabis, it'll deprive you of dreams, right?
Yes, I think so because
Because
honestly, it's been a while I've not seen dreams, and not even actively smoking cannabis at the moment.
to start taking magnesium, you'll see a difference. Because I love watching those dreams. I mean, it gives me, and now you brought this cool idea to me that those are the things that you didn't face, and your dream is some sort of thing that's
Yeah.
trying to tell you. It's fascinating how we get dreams, and
Yeah. So again, coming back to the point that you said about, you know, like bad trip. Nothing is bad trip. There's no such thing as bad trip. It's your demon from inside, which you don't want to face, or the trouble from inside.
you've been
which you don't
avoiding
want to
for
face,
the long time,
right?
and yeah,
And the substance or the things that you had or chemical that you had
it's trying to bring that
is
back up.
trying to bring that
Yeah.
back up. Similar to when you sit there and do meditate.
Same thing.
Same thing. Meditation, you can get high without substance with meditation. That's the beauty of it, right? That's what I like to listen to a lot of these spiritual people.
Oh yeah, I mean
Because-
Sadhguru also has a very
Yes.
cool point, and
Yes. He always says that, right?
yeah,
And I used to listen to a lot of Osho's lectures or pravachan, whatever you want to call, and it also gave me amazing perspective towards life. Honestly, I might not be able to recall everything that he said, but when I'm trying to make some decisions in my life, important
Yeah.
decisions or things like that, I always think of, you know, those things, what he had said about things, or what other spiritual being has said, you know, God, Krishna, Rama, you know,
Mhm.
because I'm a Hindu, so yeah, I try to recall those.
you know
things.
how I was introduced to Osho. I saw this documentary Wild Wild Country on Netflix.
Yeah, it's
Have you
crazy,
seen
right?
that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's a crazy one, and with that documentary, it was a way for America to show that Osho was a bad rep for the whole world. And at that moment, before that moment, I didn't know who Osho was. I didn't have those reels come in. Now there's a lot more reels of Osho than back then. So I watched the documentary. I'm like, who is this guy? He was sort of anti-religion. That religion doesn't provide you with good set of values, or if it does, it'll put you in a framework that you will have to abide by. If you don't do this following things, you're not a good religious person or whatnot. But there's more to life.
Yeah, that was, I would say, like, untrue. Like the way that they framed Osho.
Wild country.
Yeah, that was totally untrue.
And it wasn't nothing was done by her. It was one of her what do you call close.
It's again, I would say, like, plain and simple. Like, I don't think so. They can arrest me saying this. It's again United States game, bro. They got scared. They got scared by the movement. That's it. They took around like 5 days for 5-hour journey just to kill his health, and so eventually he died, bro. After that illness, he went to Nepal, stayed there for a bit, and then he went to Pune to his ashram, and then he died.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy, right? So
Yeah.
they're always scared with like someone who challenges their
Belief system,
belief system
and I think they're more scared of if people get this reawakening thing, or people get this awareness and become more conscious.
At this point, I like it.
Yeah,
People
I
are
think
more aware.
yeah,
They get scared.
because then they won't be able to control or propagate them into what they want them to do.
Yes, bro. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And if somebody challenges them, they will come up with the
They'll
label
find
as
a way.
propaganda
Yeah.
or conspiracy, and they will kill all the evidence that you have.
I'm not sure who said this, but it's a very cool point. Ki you don't know how to handle this body. So before meddling with these potent psychedelics or whatnot, first understand and meditate, and then know yourself first, and then maybe try take help of these mushrooms or cannabis to go to those higher states. But you don't know how to handle this body. How will you handle something that is far more potent and will rewire your brain in a way you don't even understand?
Absolutely. That's the reason. Like, if somebody is trying to get into cannabis, I don't suggest them to do that before the age of 19 or 20.
He did. He consumed 500 mg gummy from my desk. He didn't know it was a gummy.
Even I have done that, but I wish somebody would have aware me.
I wish my parents see this part of the clip, because till they don't know that he consumed that 500 mg gummy, and he's only 16 years old,
Yeah.
and he was doing weird things, man. I 500 mg is a lot.
Oh,
right?
it's a lot, bro. I would never do that. Never
Yeah.
do that. Even 20 milligrams of gummies.
I don't know why he went to my desk
Too
and
much.
opened a drawer.
In my defense, the cover said apple cider candy. In my defense.
But it's an adult's desk. He shouldn't be touching it in first place.
You should send him to Quebec.
Quebec?
They don't have flavor gummies. That's what I've heard. I'm not too sure. But
Yeah, you're right, I guess. And they're much more stricter than here.
yeah, bro. And then it's very interesting. Yeah.
Coming back to cannabis, what do you think? How will this play out? I mean, you see all these stores opening up. I've asked this to Tommy. I've asked this to Jesse,
Yeah.
Anmol. You
Yeah.
might know Anmol. Yeah.
I know him. Like, I think, bro, it's again a matter of people becoming aware, and then they will start to demand good quality cannabis, and the suppliers will eventually come up with those products as well, and then it will lower the price. But like I said before as well, and like Tommy has already shared that, and I also saw that podcast. Supply side is more, demand is less, and it's becoming competitive, right? So it's gonna be like that. So if regulators don't control that, it's gonna eventually kill the industry. It's not good. It's not good.
And we have seen what happened with Delta 9 or some of these big chains.
Oh, absolutely, bro. And then I'm also not a big fan of cartridges and disposables.
No.
I'm not a big fan of those things, honestly, bro. Because Tommy has already brought up that.
Why don't you like 5-10 carts and dispose?
You don't know what you're getting, bro.
Mm.
Right? You don't know what you're getting. It's just all about marketing. You can label whatever you want, and
You can call it purple churro or
whatever.
whatnot. Yeah.
It's not even a purple churro. I don't know what it is inside there. You might have brought up like biomass. Made a
You don't
distillate.
know what you're mixing up, and
made a distillate, and just throw on the market.
And who's checking if it's sativa, indica? They just slap these labels without even.
Yeah, right. And then And sometimes people come, like my consumers come to me and say like, oh, this indica is giving me like sativa effect. And this sativa is giving me like indica effect.
That happens.
That happens, right? Even
Yeah.
you must have experience. It's all because you don't know what you're getting. That's the reason I want to stick with flower and that to like craft. And
It's like a whole food for
Yes,
in cannabis
whole food.
industry. Yeah.
Although I might not be able to afford it every day, but if I want to smoke, I want to smoke something good, something that's organic. That's the reason I'm pushing for sweetgrass. The sweetgrass is off the market in Manitoba for a bit of time. I don't know why.
Sweetgrass. What is that?
That's a brand. This is not a promotional thing or anything. I don't want to promote anyone, but sweetgrass is something that I like because they have.
And where do you find this brand? In Ontario or?
No, we used to sell it. Like Joint used to sell it
Okay.
fast, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But it's been a while. I've not seen that brand coming into our store, and even some of my customers who used to be a regular buyer, they are also not happy with that because it's certified organic. Their products are good, and once you smoke sweetgrass, you don't want to smoke anything else. This is organic, bro. It's a nice craft flower. Has all the terpenes. No, not radiated. Nothing like that. It does not smell crazy. The smoke is nice, the way it should be.
There's something about when you industrialize something. Now you lose the essence of what the craft was, because then you are in this race of mass producing everything and trying to achieve the efficient, streamlined process, and in that somewhere gets lost the art of growing and cultivating, and
But if liquor people can do that with Scotch, with Irish whiskey,
it took them years to.
took them years, right?
Yeah.
And why can't we do that for cannabis? They're also mass producing.
Yeah.
You can get Johnny Walker in thousands of quantities. Even like single origin, organic, biodynamic whiskey, you can even bottle like 12,000, 15,000. If liquor people can do that, why not cannabis people can? That's my point. Like, it's all about awareing your audience first. It's going to take time. It's not going to happen like tomorrow. That's not something that I'm trying to say or push the brands to do that, because again, you'll have to survive. I understand as a business, you want to survive, you want to thrive, you want to get that revenue, But again, it's also your responsibility if you want to protect the industry in the long run.
Yeah.
It's your responsibility to educate people that don't chase THC. These are the indicators, that says this is good cannabis, this is crap. So if you keep on pushing that in a subtle manner with every product that you sell or every product line that you come up with, people will eventually have that understanding that THC is not just the indicator.
THC, not everything.
There's a lot of different factors. And in order to allow that, regulators should enable the environment where people can actually open the bag, smell it. I'm not saying like allow everyone to smoke inside the place.
No.
Right? Allow them to smell, allow them to feel the bud, right? And and also come up with the regulations where they can protect customers or consumers' health by preventing that, crappy thing where people can label anything and just sell cartridges with whatever they want or disposable with whatever they want and fill with like crazy amount of botanical terpenes, which is again in some form a chemical compound, right? And at one point, you allow the recreational cannabis, saying it's a good substitute of alcohol, because it's beneficial for your health. But at the same time, you're also allowing the brands to come up with those crazy products.
Fill it with all these chemicals
with all the chemicals
and God knows what they are doing in the curing process.
Right? And 99% THC. Bro, if you keep on consuming 99% THC for next 10 years, your mental health is gone. The research shows that. It's not me saying it.
I think it will happen before 10 years even, because psychosis will kick in.
Psychosis will kick in. You will have a cannabis withdrawal symptom, right?
And once you consume that higher potent substance, you won't be able to go back to flower or whatnot.
Absolutely not. It's going to take years. You'll have to stop that. And once you do that, you'll start to feel tremor. It's just like hard drugs, bro. You'll start to feel that tremble. You will, jitter. Things like that will happen. And your mental health will be fucked up. And then again, you'll also be losing your memory retention skill. It's not me. The research report has been saying that. If you go and just, if somebody is listening to this, if they want to, look into those factors, just Google it. It's right there, man.
Yeah.
Right? And every
'Cause-
time these days, if somebody is trying to listen to me in joint, I suggest them like, sometimes they come to me and have a nice set of conversation. I say to them, if you want to smoke for like next 30 years, buddy, stick with 20-25% THC, go with something that's craft, nice.
Because once your tolerance is up
Yes.
there, you won't be able to even get
Yes.
high. Yeah.
Bro, because cannabis doesn't work like alcohol, man. There's receptors.
Yeah, and once you block those receptors, you don't really.
It's not even blocking. See, bro, like now we are getting into this. It's interesting. It's technical. I'm not a scientist, but I know this because I've been researching it for so long. So this is how your brain works. 100 receptors, right?
Yeah.
If you're smoking daily, I'll simplify this. 100 receptors. If you're smoking daily, 30%, 30%, 30%, 30%, 30% every single bloody day, your brain will reduce that receptors to 50.
Mm.
Instead of increasing the receptors, it decreases the receptors. So now, in order to get the same kind of experience or high, whatever you want to call, you have to smoke more. More and more and more and more. And again, if you keep on smoking that, 30%, 30%,
Receptors
30%,
will
25, 20. And at one point, you will not feel
magical number 0.
and then eventually you will lean towards bloody hard drugs. That's why they call it gateway.
It's like the hedonic treadmill that, because.
And that's why they call it gateway drug. But if you go to Nepal and smoke organic, like 5%, 10% THC with dense amount of, trichomes, and then nice amount of terpenes, 35 years, 40 years,
It'll be just fine.
it'll just be fine. Don't smoke it in such a way where you're abusing, and don't play with your life. That's going to be my final suggestion for everyone who's listening to this. Because don't abuse, bro. That's my thing. Don't chase after THC.
Excess of everything is bad, you
Yes.
know? I mean,
Yes, don't abuse it. Because you're smoking cannabis to feel calm, to relax yourself, to make your life better in some way. If you're dealing with some issues like depression, anxiety, or things like that. And then you're chasing THC, doesn't make sense. And if you're just chasing THC percent, 30%, 35%, 40%, 50%, 60%, now we have infused pre-rolls, 63%, 64%. And then you say, give me 99% THC cartridge. Buddy, you're killing your mental health. In 5-10 years, it will not do anything because, like I said, receptors will,
come diminish.
your brain will say, buddy, you're smoking too much. I'm going to reduce from 100 to 50, 50 to 25. The only way to stop that is tolerance break. You'll have to take break. And I used to take all the time. So this is perhaps my tolerance break. It's not intentionally done. But after like few months, if I go back and smoke, even 15% will do amazing to me.
100%. I haven't had cannabis in past 2 years, in all honesty. Since starting the stores, I got busy and everything. And there's this thing that when you're surrounded by it, you don't really want it. It's like when you don't have a girlfriend, you want a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And when you have a girlfriend, you're like, So
That's the thing, bro. At my home,
yeah.
I have bunch of amount of cannabis at the moment, but I don't smoke. It's also a matter of self-control, bro. Because my health is fucked up. It's almost been a year that I've been dealing with this, and since I've started to deal with my health problems, I've stopped doing it. It's my personal experience, right? I'm not suggesting everyone to do that. Don't take a break if you don't want to, but if you want to keep on smoking for next 30 years, stick with 20 to 25% THC. Go with something that's craft, something that's proper, something that's properly grown, something that's nice, something that's good quality, and enjoy it.
Listen, man, thank you so much for doing
No
this.
worries, man.
This was wonderful. And if people can find you somewhere, LinkedIn, whatever, you can tell that now.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for inviting me here and allowing me to share whatever I had in my head, whatever I believed. And thank you so much, buddy.
Good one, guys. Bye.